If you follow my channel, you know that the loco is complete and it's running nicely. The last few weeks before my open day in mid-September has been a mad rush to get it all working. After the meeting, I took the wagon apart and all components got painted. I made a few stencils for the logo, the length and the weight markers, which turned out to be okay in most cases. Recently, I also made a box with padded seat for the wagon to sit on. In retrospect, I think it turned out to be a little too high. It is very comfortable for an adult to sit on, but maybe still a little bit too high. Maybe I should consider converting this to a different wagon and make a lower driving wagon in the future. Only time will tell. The loco is only completed to get the thing moving. Batteries, the main circuit breaker, and the connection to the 4QD controller and the hand controller. Nothing else right now. Now I need to take the loco apart for some repairs, and let's see how she looks under the hood. So that's the inside of the cab. This is a 60 amp fuse, which I know it's too much, but this is what I have at the moment. So that sits in between the two batteries. I just usually take it off just to be sure that the whole thing is not powered when I'm not using it. And you flick the switch and then she's on. So you see the state of charge on the controller, and you also see some of the basic stats here on the screen. I got this off eBay, and it's basically a 100 amp DC voltmeter, amp meter, power meter, and an energy monitor. So it shows me the amps, the voltage on the batteries, so 2 batteries, and the amp when it's running, and it calculates the power which is being consumed, or the power of the engine, and the energy which is consumed over the time when it was first turned on. And it wasn't really visible in the videos, but sometimes, especially when I accelerate, it seems that the screen flashes and it seems to reset, and I've no idea why this is happening. And I'm wondering, maybe because the controller has a braking function when it basically uses the motor to charge the batteries. Maybe it changes polarity. Well, it shouldn't change the polarity, but something happens which this device doesn't expect, and it resets, or it just appears that it resets. So I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but that's definitely something that I need to fix in the future. We are on the front left side of the engine. That's the Q40 controller, DNO10, and I'm just using the basic setup. So power comes in, I think these 2 leads or these 2, and then the other 4 wires are going to the motors. And here I have the controller connected. Instead of using the socket which was supplied, which I think had a short connection somehow, I'm just using a standard pin header. So this is like 1.inch pin header, which fits right on the socket there, and it just works much reliable for me. I don't know, I must have made an error on my side, but anyway, this was something that I was checking for many days. I couldn't really figure out what the issue was, and once I changed the socket, it was working all fine. And the extra 2 wires here are going to be all the extra functions, like the sun and the light, which is not installed yet. And basically just the wire loom is going through here, and then it's exiting the cab on one of the back window. And now we come to the other side. These 2 big leads here, they are coming from the batteries, and they go into these automotive relays. So I think it's 12 volts, 60 amps. So now they are actually switching 24 volts, probably something less than 60 amps. This is like the main switch. So when I flick this switch on the cab, so when I flick this switch, basically that just energizes both of the relays. So one switch the positive side, the other switch is the negative side. So this is high, and power the whole thing on and off. And on the negative side, I have the shunt resistor, which came with the power meter. So the instruction said that it has to be connected on the negative side, and then it goes into this distribution block where at the moment I take the ground off for the speed controller, and then the positive side goes to this distribution block here, which again goes to the speed controller. And I'm going to mount some additional stuff here for the lights and sound. So I'm going to get all of them from these distribution blocks. So in theory, if I get the energy monitor working, it's going to monitor the usage both of the motors and all the auxiliary stuff as well. Slightly longer, so I have the batteries this way, and the two boards, speed controller and all the other relays and other stuff, and then the cab and the second battery on the other direction. And the cable here for the controller just go under here and then come through here, and normally I will have it outside like this through the back window. So that's pretty much it. So this is not fixed, so this is all free, and actually it seems that there is quite a bit of a space here, but when I put the cover on, the lights, the headlights, they jam against the battery, sort of this battery case. So I have to wiggle it just a little bit, like I move it, I drop the case like this, and I have to move it a little bit forward. And by the way, the plan is that so at the moment the chassis doesn't have any fixed location, or it just drops on and it just holds on by the sheer weight of it, which is not huge, just a few kilos. So it just moves around a little bit and it scratches the paint. So what I'm planning to do is add some wooden blocks somewhere here and here in the corners. So that would be more like a registration mark. So when I drop the chassis on, it will lock it in place. At least I try to do it in 4 places. So it might just move around just a few mils, but anyway, it would have a fixed place on the engine. And the other reason I'm taking the chassis on top of showing you the innards and then making this video, because I'm losing gauge. So it happened already twice that this, well, not only this one, but any of the wheels of the loco, they start moving in, and I'm just losing gauge, and basically the loco just dropped between the rails. And if you remember, I showed you before that I have this ring welded onto the wheels, which is set in place by those set screws, which are up there, or the other one right there, and it's just not good enough. So probably because of the torque and all the other forces, the wheels just start going inwards, and then the loco just drop between the rails. So I need to take all the batteries and everything off, so I can actually lift the chassis up, turn it over, and then weld the wheels to the axle permanently. So that's going to be the next job, and once that is done, the whole assembly process starts from the beginning again. So I will put the chassis back on the rails and start remounting batteries and all the electrics and everything, and then hopefully that's going to be the end of it, and the loco would be truly final or complete. Thanks for watching.